Hello everyone, it's Queen back. Today we're going to make a southern favorite, I think a nationwide favorite this time of the year. Everybody enjoys drinking on their porch or in the yard. You got an idea? Yeah, so we're going to make, I had a subscriber ask me, Queen, how do you make your iced tea? And I thought it was a joke for a minute. Because everybody makes iced tea, right? But, I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Okay. Because this person heard me on other, I'm not going to call any names, but you know who you are. Saw me, wrote on other comments in cooking sections that, what I do to my iced tea. So I'm going to show you guys. I thought it would be an interesting video. Whatever. I hope so. Hope you learned something. But I have some tea boiling here. And this tea has been boiling now for a good, simmering. And then, I brought it up to a boil and simmering it. I'm using one of these large tea bags that makes, a gallon. They're pretty big. You can make it iced or hot. But I use these. It makes a gallon. But I'm not going to make a gallon. Because, a gallon is really 16 cups. So we're going to use half of that, which is 8 cups. That I have in here, 8 cups of water, because I don't like my tea diluted too much because you're going to put ice in it. And, people sip it, so you don't really want to lose the tea flavor. So, I have a tea. Yeah, my fingers are conditioned to heat being a pastry chef, a baker. So that's the tea bag, and you can see it's fully saturated, and it'll float when it's saturated a little bit somewhat. It'll sink at first, and then it'll come to the top. But I have that to a roaring boil, and not a roaring boil, but a simmer, a light boil. And this is the color you want to get. You're looking for a deep, rich, reddish color. I like that tea bag over there. I like this. But you can use any tea bag you want to, guys. Even a different color tea. But you want it to be strong. You want this tea to be strong because, like I said, you're going to dilute it with ice and stuff. So, you want it to be strong. And that's what you're looking for, that color right there. That's the color you're looking for right there. That's a good brewed tea. Then you want to cover it. Then I'm going to let, I'm going to let the tea simmer. Stay in the pot for a little bit longer. And then what I'll do is strain it out into a container like this. That can take, once you let it cool down a little bit, you pour it in a container and refrigerate it and let it get chilled. But before that, and I'll go back to it, you can sweeten it with any of these things. I made back there honey syrup, which is equal parts honey to water. You heat it up in the microwave a little bit or on top of the stove just till it comes to a slight simmer, then turn it off. That's your syrup. That's your honey syrup. Then you can sweeten it with this stuff. You've seen me with this. I've been using this a lot, the maple honey. The maple syrup honey, or you could sweeten it like we do in the South with sorghum, or you could sweeten it with just pure honey. Just put the honey in there. And if you want to make a cocktail out of it, you could put some of this Domaine de Canton French ginger liqueur in it, which is delicious. It's up to you. You can garnish it with mint or with lemons, and if you want to brew it with even a piece of ginger, you could. Afterwards, you guys seen me use peaches in my cocktails. You can muddle peaches and pour the chilled iced tea over the muddled peaches with ice. And then there you go. You have a nice peachy drink. Okay, getting back to the tea. I'm going to take the tea bag out because this has been simmering long enough that, I'm making some of this for this weekend. So you take the tea bag out right there. And then what I like to do is add these things. This is what makes my iced tea me. See that little bit of salt? It's literally a pinch, whatever you can get in your finger. I like to add that to my teapot. Just a pinch of salt. And that's to your brewed tea. Once you take the tea bag out, you want to add the pinch of salt that I did. And you're not going to taste it in here, but it will enhance the flavor. This is another thing I add to my tea. Baking soda. As you guys know, baking soda neutralizes stomach acidity. It alkalines. And guess what? Why I added to my tea, not only for the health benefits, but I added to my tea, and it'll bubble up. See that? I added to my tea. We Southerners do this, guys. So that's why I didn't think this was a big deal, because some of y'all noticed. I added to my tea, stir it in there, because it takes out the bitterness, like if you overbrewed it, or just, sometimes tea can get kind of bitterish. So it takes out the bitter taste, and it neutralizes any kind of bitterness, and it also makes your tea clearer. Once you pour it in your glass, it's a subtle difference, but I learned this from my grandma and my great-grandmother. I remember her putting a pinch of baking soda in everything she did. So there you go, guys. That's the secret to my iced tea. It's no secret, though. Everybody does this. You ask any Southern woman, when they making their sweet tea, because, sweet tea is our thing down here in the South. That's the nice color you want. We know our sweet tea. See? And then before it gets too chilled or too room temperature, then that's when you want to add your sweetener. I have some made here. It looks dark in the picture, but once you pour it over ice and everything, it'll be fine. So we're going to get that going right now. Show you guys what it looks like. I made this one late last night to have for today for my guests coming over here. So you guys know I have a cocktail, and this is a tall glass. This is actually, they call these in the store iced tea glasses, because they're designed to hold a lot of liquid, and that's what you want because it's iced tea. So let's drain off. I had this sitting there a while. So we're gonna make 2 of these. Sorry, iced tea, and I have some over here in a jar that that didn't fit in that jar all the way over there. So we're gonna add some of that in here. Here we go. Beautiful glass of iced tea. Beautiful glass. And then we're gonna add a straw to it. And then, like I said, you can have some lemons. Not dealing with that right now, but we're gonna put in a little sprig of mint. I gotta go get some mint for this weekend. I'm trying to use up this mint that's out in my garden, the rest of it. And there we go. Iced tea. Iced tea, homemade iced tea. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys. Of course, I'm gonna say yum, but I'm used to drinking my iced tea. I'm glad this person mentioned it to me, because I thought this was an interesting thing to put up. People drink iced tea all year round, really. I really don't drink a lot of iced drinks in the winter, but I do like iced tea. I'm going to be honest about it. I do like the iced tea, and, that's what I drink in the winter. So anyway, guys, like I said, you can muddle peaches in it before you pour your before you put your ice and your tea in the glass. Muddle you some peaches. Like smash it up in the bottom of the glass. You can even add some peach schnapps, like I told you, or put your lemon in there. Cut your lemon up, muddle it if you want to, or just put it on the side of your glass. Like back there, I made some honey syrup, or you can use maple syrup with honey. Honey goes very good, or molasses goes so great with tea. I got the pure honey, I got the sorghum, and I got if you want to make it into a cocktail, there you go. So use yourself I use one of these giant tea bags, and I use 8 cups of water. But you make your tea how you want it. Just make it strong. And don't add no extra water to it. Just make the tea strong. That's the key. Then you want to add your pinch of salt. And it doesn't matter if you make 8 cups or a gallon. Just use a nice pinch of salt. You're not going to taste it in the tea. And if you do, you put too much. Just a pinch of salt. And, the baking soda, which this was that I used a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just trying to measure for you guys, because I really don't measure no more. But I'd say a 1/4 teaspoon to a gallon. Up to a gallon, you want to use a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a hair less. And then you stir that into your hot tea and let it sit, and pour it in your vessel, Pour it in your vessel, put it in the refrigerator, let it chill, Get you a nice glass, fill it with ice, and that's what you got there. All right, guys, have a good day, and thanks a lot for watching these videos. Oh, and make sure you use a good water, spring water or distilled. Tap water is too cloudy. That's the whole, but if you use it, it's okay. Just use the baking soda because that'll take the cloudiness out of it, out of your water. And, you know, the baking soda will clear it up because that's the purpose of using that, to make your iced tea look great. But remember, this is strong. I didn't dilute this, so that's why it's kind of dark. But believe me, you'll taste, I'm going to have another sip. You'll taste the difference, okay? All right, you guys have a great day, and thanks a lot for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one, which will be soon. Bye-bye. Take care now. Bye-bye.